What up? You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Today's show presented by our friends at Magic Spoon. You can get $5 off at checkout by going to magicspoon.com/chat. That link is in the description and comment section of this video. It's the healthiest, tastiest, most protein-packed cereal out there on the market. We'll tell you more about their flavors and everything that Magic Spoon has to offer coming up. Let's dive into the latest NBA news and rumors, and we kick off today's show with getting to the latest on Damian Lillard. Look, Dame has been in Portland since 2012. He's going to be 31 years old in a couple weeks this month in July, and for him, it's easy to realize why he's getting frustrated with the current situation in Portland. He wants to win right now, and throughout his Trailblazers career, the Blazers have made it to the Western Conference Finals only once. They've been outed in the first round 4 of the last 5 years. Now, The Athletic put together a list of possible Damian Lillard destinations where he could get traded to, and they looked at some of the players that could be brought back to Portland to kind of make a deal happen. That list put together by John Hollinger as well as David Aldridge, and they examined what can the Blazers realistically get back in a trade for Damian Lillard. As for some of the destinations they threw out there, your Golden State Warriors atop the list. They have one of the most intriguing trade packages they could offer Portland. The New Orleans Pelicans in there as they try to rebuild and build around Zion Williamson. The New York Knicks have a bevy of first-round picks and some talented pieces on the roster that they could put in a trade package to lure Dame to New York City. And the Philadelphia 76ers. Could they send Ben Simmons out west and bring Dame in to team up with Joel Embiid? Let's kick it off with the Golden State Warriors. So why this is kind of appealing, Dame is from Oakland, and he's very, very proud of his Oakland roots. And Golden State needs to be aggressive to maximize this current window of Steph Curry still being in his prime. Won the NBA scoring title this past year. It was the best statistical season that he's ever had. Crazy to say that given that he's 33 years old, but he's kind of defying father time and still playing at an elite level. There were times this season where I thought Steph Curry was the number one player across the NBA. You pair him up with Dame, Klay Thompson gets healthy, you still have Draymond Green. Maybe the Warriors get back to championship contention. As for the trade pieces that the Warriors could offer Portland, you're talking about picks number 7 and 14 in the NBA lottery. Okay, Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, Jordan Poole, and Eric Paschall, all kind of attractive candidates to also be put together in that package to bring Dame to the Warriors. So react to Dame, Steph, and Klay in the Bay. I'm rhyming here, spitting bars. That's just what we do here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. React to that trio. Get into the comment section. Either type OMG for oh my God or type wow, because that trio could be absolutely lethal for the Golden State Warriors. Let's get to the New Orleans Pelicans. According to reports that came out a couple weeks ago, Zion Williamson's family is not happy with the Pelicans as an organization. They're not happy with his current situation in the Big Easy. And pressure is certainly mounting around David Griffin and this entire franchise to build around Zion Williamson. He's going to be entering year 3. He's already going to be on his 3rd head coach. And that roster right now certainly has questions. You have Lonzo Ball is going to be a restricted free agent. You have Brandon Ingram, who's under club control for a little while at a high price tag, but you need to make Zion Williamson happy. He's a generational player, and if he's unhappy and his family doesn't want him to be there, Zion Williamson makes perfect sense to go to a massive media market where he can kind of capitalize on his popularity and also start to win basketball games, because in his first 2 seasons in New Orleans, the Pelicans haven't made it to the playoffs. As for the Pelicans trade pieces, they're pretty good. They can package some first-round picks, but also, if they want to send Brandon Ingram to Portland, they can do that. Najee Marshall is a young player who has some potential. So too is Kyra Lewis. Those are the pieces that the Pelicans could use to bring in Damian Lillard. As for the New York Knicks, the Knicks desperately need a go-to scoring guard. For as good of a story as Derrick Rose was this past year, he cannot be your starting point guard and your go-to scoring threat in crunch time. Simply just not good enough. And Damian Lillard has said in the past, his favorite arena to play across the NBA, it is Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. And if you've never been there, that place is lit. Look at how that place was rocking in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, and that was only for one playoff victory. Imagine if Dame during Dame time is knocking down 35-foot trade balls at the buzzer. The lid's going to pop off the Mecca. The trade pieces for New York. They might be the best that any team has to offer across the league right now. They have 6 first-round picks over the next couple of years, and they can offer all of them because they're not all the New York Knicks. The NBA rule is you can't package back-to-back first-round picks in back-to-back years. Knicks don't have to worry about that because of all the trades that they've made to bring those first-round picks in. Also, there are some young, appealing players on the roster that can be put in that trade deal as well, including Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, and Kevin Knox. Let's get to the Philadelphia 76ers. Portland could get back Ben Simmons. And I know so many people are ripping on Ben Simmons right now. His value is a lot higher than what people think. He's an all-NBA defender. He's an excellent passer. He's got tremendous vision. At 6'10", there aren't a lot of athletes across the league who can do what Ben Simmons does, defend positions 1 through 5, and manufacture and create points on the offensive end of the floor. So while his postseason tenure was disastrous in the second round against the Hawks, that was kind of reactionary. His value is high, and I think he could be put in a deal to bring Dame to the city of brotherly love. And the Sixers, like the Knicks, I think have one of the best trade packages for Dame. Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, who was a steal in the 20s in the first round of the NBA draft in 2020. He flashed at many times in junctures throughout this season. Matisse Thybulle is an all-NBA defender. He was listed as so this past year, 3rd-team all-defense, and a 2023 first-round pick. So those are the trade pieces that the Sixers could utilize in a trade for Damian Lillard. But who has the best chance to land Dame time? Where is Dame time going to go? Which city is it going to be? Type W for the Golden State Warriors, type K for the New York Knicks, type P for the New Orleans Pelicans, or type S for the Philadelphia 76ers. As I mentioned off the top, NBA Now made possible thanks to our friends at Magic Spoon. You can get $5 off at checkout by going to magicspoon.com/chat. It's the tastiest cereal that tastes like the cereal that we ate when we were kids, but it's healthy for us now that we are adults looking to introduce a healthy diet and maintain some fine shape like your boy over here, because I've dropped like 40 pounds over the last several years. Per serving, it's loaded with 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar. It's high in protein, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, wheat-free, naturally flavored, totally delicious. And once again, you can get $5 off at checkout by using that link at the bottom of your screen or the link that's in the description, as well as the comment section of this video. Who doesn't love cereal? But all of the traditional brands are packed with awful ingredients that are terrible for you, that's loaded with sugar, loaded with carbs, and there's very little protein. Magic Spoon is the exact opposite. Is Ben Simmons on the move? According to Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer, the Sixers are hopeful they can land Damian Lillard by packaging Ben Simmons. He also mentioned the Los Angeles Clippers as a possible trade partner as well. If the Sixers were to want to trade Simmons away, maybe the Clippers are a possible suitor. To me, I mentioned it earlier, Ben Simmons has higher value than a lot of people are giving him credit for. He's one of the best defenders across the league. I thought he should have won Defensive Player of the Year ahead of Rudy Gobert. Just has much more defensive versatility than a guy who's always plugged down low in the paint, and his offensive game, especially in transition, is very elite, and I think he's a corner 3 away from being a superstar-like player. Here's what O'Connor had to say in that report on The Ringer. There's also Ben Simmons, a Sixers all-star who spends nearly all of his off time in Los Angeles and would add a much-needed playmaking dimension to the Clippers. But regardless of the other pieces involved in a potential deal, would Kawhi Leonard want to team up with Simmons after the latter's disastrous postseason? Is that a deal the Sixers would want to make when league sources say they're hoping for an opportunity to land Lillard? That's one report. Here's another report coming from Jason Dumas on Twitter earlier on Friday as we record this during our live show. Now, Jason Dumas is a sports director for a station out in San Francisco, but he is from the Philadelphia area. He has some type of source within the organization because he's been on point with some of his reports with the Sixers in the past. It's my inkling that he might have have a relationship with Doc Rivers, but this is what he had to tweet on Friday. The Sixers have already fielded offers for Ben Simmons, but continue to hold a stance that they will only trade him for an all-star caliber player. They most recently turned down a deal with the Pacers that included Malcolm Brogdon and a first-round pick. This is appealing for a couple reasons, because Brogdon is a good player and kind of fits the mold of what the Sixers are looking for. A guy who can get his shot off the dribble, he can create, he can be a go-to scoring option at the end of the shot clock and the end of games. The only problem with Brogdon, it's injuries. And Embiid, we know, is injured a lot. You need players to be available on this team, especially because you have to factor in that Embiid is probably going to miss some time, either with injury or load management. But Brogdon's numbers this past year, very, very good. And he's been a good player throughout his NBA career since coming out of Virginia. Won Rookie of the Year with the Bucks several years ago. 21-plus points per game, almost 6 dimes a night, shooting 45% from the field, almost 39% from three. Those are great numbers. So here is the trade on your screen that Jason Dumas had put out on Twitter and reported. Would you make it? Pacers receive Ben Simmons. The Sixers would get back Malcolm Brogdon and a 2021 first-round pick, which is slated for 13th overall at the back end of the lottery. Get your votes in. Type T for yes, I'd make this trade. Type P for pass. I would think about making this trade, but I would put feelers out there to see if I can trade Simmons for a better player, because once again, I think his value is a little bit higher, and I think you can put him in a deal alongside Tyrese Maxey and Matisse Thybulle to get a guy like Damian Lillard, and obviously any day of the week, you're going to take Dame over Malcolm Brogdon. If you like what you're seeing here on Chat Sports and you haven't already subscribed, do so right now by going to youtube.com/chatsportstv or hit that red subscribe button down below. We're getting closer and closer to 250,000 subscribers, and let this be your NBA offseason hub for all of the latest NBA news and rumors, as well as breaking news. And for Hoops fans out there, we also have team-specific channels here at Chat Sports, and the subscription links are at the bottom of your screen as producer Perry floats through those. Lakers Report, north of 36,000 subscribers. Warriors Today, we're trying to get to 19K subs. Mavericks Today, we're back on that channel pushing out multiple videos a week. We're almost at 14,000 subscribers. And Celtics Today has been on fire. We just surpassed 6,000 subscribers. If you're a fan of one of those teams, or you want to stay up to date with some of those teams in the NBA that are on your screen right now, subscribe to them. All of the subscription links are also in the comment section of this video. Last rumor we want to hit on this segment, RJ Barrett. According to the New York Daily News, the Knicks interested in including Barrett in a deal for either Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal if a trade like that comes to fruition. I'm really high on Barrett. I thought he took a huge leap from year one to year two. Coming out of Duke, somewhat raw, but man, he's worked on his game. And the clips that I'm seeing of him playing with the Canadian national team, trying to qualify for the Olympics, very impressive. He started all 72 games last year for the Knicks in that COVID-shortened season. And while I'm high on him, and while Knicks fans are very excited about him, let's be real. You might have to include him to land a player with some star power. And I want to take a look at RJ Barrett's numbers, because that leap from year one to year two was certainly real. 17.5 points per game. I'm looking at the three-point percentage, and that's when you know a guy has been putting in work. A guy is taking his craft seriously. He shot 40% from three. And remember, coming out of Duke, the knock on him was that he wasn't a consistent knockdown shooter, especially from the outside. But if he can stay and hover around 40% from distance, RJ Barrett has a lot of potential, and if the Knicks hold on to him, he could be a bona fide number two with the potential of being a number one, or if you want to use him in a trade package, I think you can lure a guy like Beal or Lillard by trading away Barrett. So were you impressed with RJ Barrett in year two in his sophomore season? Sometimes you see the sophomore slump. It was the opposite for RJ. If you were impressed with him, hit that thumbs up icon, like this video, and support what we do here at Chat Sports.